Okay, so let me introduce myself a little bit because I did not do that in the test video. So here we are. My name is Nye. I am aka the Book Babe, aka Nicole G. Brent. If you do not know me or have not had the opportunity of following me, I am a book blogger, now vlogger, book reviewer, and all around book lover. I have platforms both on Facebook as the Book Babe community. I also run the Book Babe group, which is a small little forum of mainly women, which we will continue to be women only, on Facebook as well. So let's talk a little bit about the things that I love and why I love books so much. I have loved books for a very, very, very long time. My love of books really was rekindled in college. And a lot of that actually happened mainly because I had a roommate who worked at a bookstore. And that wasn't the main reason for it, because I really did shop the bookstore very often, but it also didn't help that I had a person or persons who I was friends with who worked in a bookstore who were able to get books at discounts. So I ended up with a whole bunch of crazy stuff that just led me to having all that you guys see behind me and more, because there is literally 2 3-tier bookcases that are filled, and then we have a 5-tier, which is over here, which is filled. Then I have this 3-tier thing over here that's filled. I have books on top of my knitting case, which basically my knitting case or my knitting container is actually holding balls of yarn, because I'm also a knitter. We'll talk about that in a later video and how that all happened and came about, because I've been knitting for about 2 years. And I have a lot of projects. Not the best, but I'm pretty good. Not gonna toot my own horn on that. I'm not bad. I'm good. So, and of course, in my apartment, there's also a niche in my bedroom wall that's a cabinet that has books in it, and that is filled. Total count as of a couple months ago is around 750 physical books in my living space, just in one room. So that's really nothing compared to the libraries of other friends, but that's a lot for my bedroom. And it's still growing, still evolving. My book collection is still insane. I have a wish list and a to buy list a mile long. I have books coming out of my ears. I think about books very often. I buy with intention. Mainly I try to buy with the intent of knowing that I am immediately reading this, or because it's part of a series, or because it's from a favorite author. If it is a brand new author that I've never heard about, if it's an author that I've read but really don't care about, I typically read them through Scribe or listen to an audiobook, because I just physically don't have the space to have all that stuff in my house. And until I move and get a townhouse and can do a book room the way I want it done, my room is cluttered. And besides the clothes and everything else, my room ain't that big, and I also don't have a closet. So there ain't no space in here. I'm telling y'all, it's serious. It gets real serious in here with these books. Okay, so now that we've ranted and raved about that, let's talk about fandoms, because all of us have fandoms. We all have things that we love, and fandoms that we just cannot do without. My biggest fandom, if you are my friend and you have known me for years, is Harry Potter. I am a lunatic when it comes to Harry Potter stuff. Harry Potter purses, Harry Potter t-shirts, my Hogwarts sweater. I recently bought a personalized cup from Etsy, and I spent $50 on this cup. It's a fabulous cup, y'all. Let me tell you, it's fabulous. Alrighty, so my cup also reveals my house, and I am very, very proud of my house. And there are so many reasons why I am proud of my house, because as I have gotten older, my house really fits my personality. And if you know me well, then you will know that my house definitely fits my personality, because there is no way I could be a Ravenclaw or a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff. I am nothing if I am not a Slytherin. I am absolutely positively in love with this cup. You just don't know. It is sparkly and pretty and beautiful and so fancy. It's worth the money. It's by Ashley Aguilera Designs on Etsy. So I'm gonna give her a shout out because she does really, really good work, y'all. Seriously, I mean, like, this cup is worth it. It's so worth it. So besides being a huge Harry Potter fan, I cannot explain my love for the Harry Potter fandom. And since we are also talking about Harry Potter, it just so happens that I should probably mention my favorite Potter book. Hello. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. One of the main reasons why I really, really love this book so much is because we really find out so many things about the origins of Voldemort. We really find out a lot of his backstory in this book. It's a very, very dark book for the series, but it is my absolute favorite book of the series, and it really, 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 really sets Snape apart in a very huge way. I don't want to do any spoilers because it is my favorite book in the series, but it is one that I've read over and over again because it's my favorite. I could just read it by itself because it's awesome. I mean, it is a great book. One thing to note about Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, I do not own the movie of this book. The reason why I don't own the movie of this book is because I was so highly disappointed when the way the movie was adapted. I was upset. I felt that it did not do the content of the book justice. I felt that it was too light. I got why it is too light, but I just felt like, okay, at this point, these kids get it. You can get into this dark stuff. You are not explaining anything. This is not giving any type of sympathy when it comes to Voldemort at all. You're not explaining anything about him. Let me backtrack there. Not that he really deserved much empathy, but I felt like he just wasn't given justice and that his story really wasn't told. And it's so important that sometimes the villains be told. And I think that leads us into why I am proud to be a Slytherin. I like the villain. I'm not gonna lie. The bad guy is usually the character that I find the most intriguing. He is also the character that I like to write. I'm currently, I mentioned him in another video, writing a story with a character named Isaiah. One of my friends, Charlotte, who is also a YouTuber and a vlogger, has gotten a chance to read a little bit of Isaiah's story, just the beginning of it. And Isaiah is the bad guy. He is not a good guy. I have no intentions on really making him the good guy. I don't want him to be the good guy. I want him to be the lovable villain. That's what I want. I want you to dislike him and love him at the same time. I want him to be almost like Lucifer from Fox's show Lucifer. That was, I believe, just canceled during the fall. And the book with Isaiah is technically, quote unquote, I want to say like a paranormal romance, but it has romantic elements in it, but it ain't what y'all think. So, you know, we ain't doing all that. Okay, moving on, now that we've talked about my Harry Potter fandom. Another thing that I really love outside of Potter, I am a fan of other fandoms. I am a huge Cassandra Clare fan. I love Cassandra Clare. I really think that Cassandra Clare is amazing. My favorite series by her, everybody really rant and raves about The Mortal Instruments, and I do love The Mortal Instruments, but my favorite series is probably The Infernal Devices. One of the main reasons why I really love Infernal Devices is mainly because of the time period that it's set in. I love the thoughts of Victorian England and bustle dresses and the style and the way of life and living at that time in the Victorian era, because the history of that era is really awesome, and it's pretty cool. So over this past month, I've only read 3 novels and 3 short stories, and the 3 short stories I read were Cassandra Clare. They were the first 3 short stories in the Ghosts of the Shadow Market novella series that just came out. I listened to them as audiobooks. One of the main things that intrigued me about these is that they are told partly from the point of view of Brother Zachariah, aka Jem Carstairs. And if you know me and you know my love for the Shadowhunters, you will know that Jem is my favorite character. I absolutely love him. I am in love with Jem Carstairs. People, you know, go on and on and on about Jace Herndale and Will Herndale. No. Jem is where it's at. Okay, let me tell you. You want to talk about a book boyfriend? That is a book boyfriend, because he is amazing. Okay. But besides that, another fandom that I'm very heavily into, and it's now a TV series, and I am so happy about that, is ADOW, or as we call it, A Discovery of Witches, better known as the All Souls trilogy, excuse me, All Souls trilogy, by Deborah Harkness. I first was introduced to this series when the first book came out, and that was a number of years ago, and at the time when that book came out, Walden Books was still a thing. My roommate bought it for me for the first book, Discovery of Witches, for Christmas, and it just sat on my shelf and sat on my shelf and sat on my shelf and sat on my shelf. And then finally, a good friend of mine who's another book babe, Angel, actually was reading the books, and she was the person who really suggested that I read them. And I started them, and I didn't really know how I was going to feel about them. And at first I was like, ugh, I don't think I like this. I'm like, ugh, you know, whatever. I'm like, ugh, vampire, witch, this has been done before. No. It has not been done before. It has not been done before. Matthew Claremont. Me and Angel fight, argue about Matthew Claremont. Matt is an Oxford professor and scientist and vampire, and let me tell you right now, that's the type of man that needs to exist in the world, like that. I mean, because if vampires are real, let there be a Matthew Claremont. You're going to be seeing a whole bunch of women trying to get to them. Because, y'all, the book list was real. Okay. But the series is just so well written. The prose is really beautiful. The story is... And I'm going to talk about what I'm now currently reading. I'm reading City of Brass as an audiobook. It is by S.A. Chakraborty. I could be saying her last name wrong, so I'm sorry, so excuse me for that. That one was actually recommended to me by my coworker, Siobhan. She really loved those books, and she really couldn't stop talking about them, and how good they were. And it was suggested that it was like a take on Aladdin, and when I first started listening to it, I was like, okay, I kind of get that, but it's not. It's a lot darker than that, in my opinion. But it is a really great story. So if you want something that really gives you, that's diverse, that is a diverse read, meaning that it is not white-centered, that is definitely the book for you. If you want something that is fantasy, high fantasy, also has some mythological aspects from the Middle East, definitely a series for you. Another thing is, if you are a fan of Sabatiar's Ember in the Ashes series, you will love that one. I cannot say enough, because I really love the Ember in the Ashes series. I really think that it is a very diverse, keep you on your toes kind of series. And I just finished Reaper at the Gates in April, so I really must say that it's a really good series. So if you really want something that's going to carry on the idea of Ember in the Ashes, you should really pick up City of Brass. I will do a review of that. I will talk about it at length, but I really think that I want to read the entire trilogy, all the books that are out, before I do any type of review. Besides audiobooks, I did mention Paranormal Romance, so I am reading one. This is J.R. Ward's Lover Unleashed. This is Payne's story. So far, I'm not too far into it. I mean, so far it's okay. I mean, I'm not disliking it. I'm just taking my time with it. I've been reading it for a while. You know, I get distracted by other books. This was kind of on the back burner. But it's really good. You know, I like it. A non-fiction book that I am currently getting through is Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. This is not for the light of heart. This is a hard read. Let me tell you, it's hard. I have pretty much halfway through it. I have stopped and started and stopped and started, and I've been reading this book for months, and I mean months. I've probably been reading this book since January, and it's now June. And the reason why I keep stopping is because it is so dense. It's very heavy. Medical Apartheid is about the medical experimentation of Black and brown bodies. And if you are not ready to digest that from a scholarly point of view, it is not the book for you. One of the reasons why I picked it up was because in 2017 through 18, I tried to read as many social justice reads as possible, and I started this after reading Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow. Heavy book, really good book, very informative, Very, very good read, very, very well written, very, very well researched. There are topics that are in this book that I've researched as I've been reading them, so that I have a better frame of reference as I'm reading. My hope is to get this done by June. I probably will not review it for the blog because it's not fiction, but I probably will do a video about it when I'm done. And then, because I did mention her, you see that's Deb on the back, that's Deb on the back, but I'm also reading Deb Harkness's latest book, Time's Comfort. This is mainly about Marcus. So if you've had a chance to watch the series, then you'll know that Marcus is Matthew's son. And if you get a chance to, you know, read any of the books, you really should read these. This one, again, I've been reading this one for a while too, because honestly, I'm not as invested in this one as I am the others. Right now, I'm really at the part where Phoebe is turning, and she's becoming a vampire, and she's coming to terms with what that means. And it's really flashing back to Marcus's life, and Marcus's backstory is very, very interesting. So I'm really, really interested in seeing where that goes. But this book really makes me dislike Phoebe. I don't like her at this point. I'm not a fan. And funny thing that I'm just mentioning that now because her casting was announced today. I'm happy about the casting. Not really a fan of the character. So let's talk about one book I'm planning to read this month. If you guys aren't aware, or if you don't pay attention to it, if you're not really into books, a lot of book bloggers and book lovers enter challenges, basically challenges that they do monthly, just to get things cleared off of their TBR list. One of the challenges for this month was a LQBTA book challenge for Pride Month. There was actually originally one in April, which was odd, and basically the challenge is to read books that are already on your shelves that are dedicated to gay, lesbian, transgender, and bisexual characters. I think maybe the only book that I really had that was Dream Boy. And I had read that like years ago, and I did not want to rehash that because there was violence in that book, and I did not think I was ready to have that in my space in my birthday month. I wasn't for it. So I decided to go out and buy a book. I'm not supposed to be buying books. Buy a book that had been recommended and talked about on other YouTube channels, and I had seen it a couple of times, like in Target and on Amazon, and I never thought to buy it, so I picked it up. But it's The Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan. One of the main reasons why I really wanted to read this was because the cover was what really sold me. And then also it's a James Patterson Presents book. If you don't know anything about some of those, there's several of them. One that I read just recently is Stalking Dracula, which is a James Patterson Presents. And it's a pretty good book. It was kind of lost on me. I was just kind of like, it was boring. And that book also had an element of LGBT in it as well. And last but not least, because we have to come full circle, there's another Cassandra Clare. A lot of you may not have ever seen this before. This is the Infernal Devices graphic novel. and it's in a manga style. And the cover is gem. I've already read the first one. I read the first one like last year. I have all three. I bought them all together. Mainly I just wanted them because number one, they're my favorite series, and I wanted to see another adaptation of a book series that I loved. So there's that. Of course, there are a ton of books that I really want to get through. I have probably about a pile that consists of about 12 books. There's everything from fiction to nonfiction, to YA, to pretty much just about everything, including Kingdom of Ash. This is a lot. This is a lot, y'all, and I have not made a dent. And again, something I'm reading, I'm taking my time because this is the final book, and I don't want to rush the enjoyment. But I have a ton of books to get through for the summer. And I still plan on reading at least one or two classics, just so that I don't feel like my brain is gonna atrophy. Because I feel like too many audiobooks, in my opinion, make me stupid. And I feel like audiobooks make me lazy. Enjoy the video and like, share, and subscribe. Tell me what you'd like to hear about, and if you have any book recommendations for me or any authors that you think I should review or talk about, let me know.